Hey, everybody. We're going to go ahead and get going here. Glad to see everybody. Hope you'll enjoy. I'm going to talk about the three percenters tonight. Hey, how's everybody tonight? We got a good little group here all in tonight. Ready? I see Wingspan, Lee, Nikki, Redneck, Anna, TB. Uh, Good to see y'all. There's Miss Bree. Uh, uh, we talked for a while about the three percenters. That questions came up a lot, and I've been doing some research on it, and was putting together a video. Got about halfway through with it, and decided that I was just going to go on and present it, and as it is right now, and then we're going to talk about the rest of it. They're a pretty interesting group, from as I've dug into and found out about. Oh, let me pull up a screen here. All right. Well, this is the first part of the video, so we're going to pull it up full screen, and y'all enjoy it for what bit it is. Oh, we got a problem. It didn't want to open. Let's try this again. All right. That's fun. I just happen to have another way around it, though. So we're going to do it this way. And All right.
In the heartland of America, a movement emerged, a group that call themselves the Three Percenters. But who are they, and what drives their beliefs? Join me on a journey through history as we explore the origins, ideology, and the impacts of this controversial organization. The Three Percenters were born in 2008, a response to the election of Barack Obama. Concerned about increased government interferences and stricter gun control law, they rallied around the idea that only 3% of the colonists actively fought against the British tyranny during the American Revolution. Michael Vanderbilt, a former member of the Oath Keepers, co founded the movement. His libertarian beliefs and Second Amendment activism fueled the fire.
Now, as they said, my name is Mike Vanderbilt, and I'm a Three Percenter.
The Three Percenters attracted military veterans, law enforcement officers, and anti government activists. The Three Percenters advocate for gun ownership rights.
Hold on. Y'all are not seeing it. And Bree just told me that. All right. I don't know. Hold on a minute. My bad. I thought I had this all fucking figured out before I started. But as usual, it ain't going to work like I want it to. Is it sharing now? All right. Let's pull it back. No. Okay. I see what's happening. When I go full screen, it's losing it. All right. So I'll have to keep it low. All right. Well, here it is in this upper corner on here. But if I take it full screen, it's losing me. It's just going back to me. It's losing the video. So here we go.
In the heartland of America, a movement emerged, a group that call themselves the Three Percenters. But who are they, and what drives their beliefs? Join me on a journey through history as we explore the origins, ideology, and the impacts of this controversial organization. The Three Percenters were born in 2008, a response to the election of Barack Obama. Concerned about increased government interferences and stricter gun control law, they rallied around the idea that only 3% of the colonists actively fought against the British tyranny during the American Revolution. Michael Vanderbilt, a former member of the Oath Keepers, co founded the movement. His libertarian beliefs and Second Amendment activism fueled the fire.
Now, as they said, my name is Mike Vanderbilt, and I'm a Three Percenter.
The Three Percenters attracted military veterans, law enforcement officers, and anti government activists. The Three Percenters advocate for gun ownership rights and resist what they perceive as government overreach. They see themselves as modern day patriots standing against tyranny. The Three Percenter movement faced a defining moment during the Capitol attack. Their leadership dissolved the national group, condemning the violence, but factions persisted.
Calling on the government to understand that there are going to be consequences to pushing people like us any farther back.
More Ruby Ridges, more Wacos.
Precisely.
Okay. And right there is where we end the video part of it, with him saying precisely that we're looking at, more Wacos and that type of activity. The 3% movement, hey Jocko, how you doing? Whiskey Row, nice to see you. They were together as a unit, group wise, until they did the January 6th attack on the Capitol. When that went down, a lot of them were involved in it. And worrying about getting caught up in RICO, they disbanded the national order and broke off into individual little factions. And inside of those little factions, they're all different. Some, I'm going to pull this back up and show you some of this here. Let me pull this back up. All right. Let me get this here.
And one police officer who was present for the toppling of Silent Sam was
this is they're going to talk about here about one faction, and I'm going to show you some others too.
not present for the more recent protests. CBS 17 first told you Thursday about the suspension of a Chapel Hill officer for a forearm tattoo, a tattoo some say represents a group known as the Three Percenters.
CBS 17's Robert Richardson sits.
Now, if you see the 3% tattoo on his arm, the 13 stars and the 3 Roman numerals, you'll see that on a lot of them, different locations. We've already seen it ourselves in 2 locations amongst the group. We saw it on my brother's keeper has it on his hand, and Josh Abram has it on his hand. Now, that doesn't mean that they probably don't even know each other. They're not in the same type of group. One thing that I've noticed and seen in several of the videos about the tattoo, it seems that each different factions kind of adds their own flair to it. Now, like on Brother's Keeper, I notice his has an outline of the state of Kentucky, and that seems to be the norm. They want to put their state capital on it. Now on damn, just went brain dead on him. Josh Abrams, damn, I forgot his name. On his, he's got 17 on one side, 76 on the other side. So that's the first one I've seen with like that. I don't know if that's to deal with an individual or if that was just some personal flair he added himself. I'm not sure. But the ones that I've seen of the states belong to the different militia groups. But let's go ahead and finish listening to this.
It's down with a member of that movement. He's digging deeper into what the group believes and why some think the cause is dangerous.
The Roman numerals for 3, surrounded by 13 stars. It's the logo for 3 percenters, based on the group's claim that 3% of the people in the 13 colonies fought for independence during the Revolutionary War.
We believe in a strong, firm government. We believe that the ruling government, the government before that, and the government before that, all reigns have been constitutionally run.
Wade Bemis is part of the Wake County chapter of the 3 Percenters. He says it's about patriotism, but the Southern Poverty Law Center says they're anti-government militia groups.
Groups that believe you need to have fail-safe against overreaching government, they believe that respect against tyranny.
We don't believe in an armed militia. We are here if they need us, but we never see that coming.
Bemis says some 3 Percenter factions give a bad name to others that try to do good in the community.
Our group is black, white, green, yellow, purple. We did not discriminate. We are not racist. We believe that everybody has a right to freedom and freedom of speech.
But the SPLC says some chapters associate with extreme racist groups, have been involved in attacks on immigrants and Muslims, and that some members participated in the 2017 Charlottesville rally.
I think in the case of this officer, what needs to be known is exactly which particular organization he was involved with and whether or not, for example, Asian Muslim bias or something else.
There was a time when the organization 3 Percenters, and there are many factions of it, we do not align with those factions.
The SPLC names 193 3 Percenter factions on its list of anti-government groups. In Raleigh, Robert Richardson, CBS 17 News.
Okay. So you can see it in that group there, they are more peaceful while listing. They don't really deal with a militia type activity. Hi, Glock. Tyra says Matthew of Lafayette County is a 3%er as well, but I don't know where his tattoo is. Right on. So, like I said, they've got several different beliefs amongst their interior, and they did, like I said, they disband so that they could avoid being caught up in RICO. If you look back in the days of the Klan, when the Southern Poverty Law Firm brought them down, that's what they did it on, was they went on after them because of them, being an organized group. They attacked it the same way as they did to the mafia. So, got some more here I wanted to look at and show you. Now, some groups are peaceful and other groups are not. Now,
I'm an alt-right person.
This organization here is out of Georgia, and they consider themselves a security force. And to me, I'll show you later why I say this, they're pretty well dangerous in my mind, but that's just my opinion. But let's take a look here at this is their general right here.
Personality, a militia personality. I've been kicked off Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, PayPal. Fuck you, Mark Zuckerberg.
The Georgia 3% security force has at times been called America's largest right-wing militia. Critics say the group are white supremacists, but the 3%ers insist they are only hard-right conservatives with a specific focus on upholding America's Constitution.
Guns up.
Paramilitary groups like this have been brought further into the spotlight by none less than President Donald Trump.
Boys, stand back and stand by. Will you commit to making sure that there is a peaceful transferal of power after the election?
Well, we're going to have to see what happens.
We came to the Georgia countryside to find out and meet the group's leader, Chris Hill, also known as General Blood Agent.
Hey there. Chris. Chris. Ollie, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, Ollie. How's it going? I'm good. And you? Yeah, very well, thank you.
Let me stop this a minute. I want to answer Jocko here. He's got a question. He says he's got a P85 and it jams. Any ideas? Have you tried different ammunition to see if it's just the ammunition itself? I know I ran into a problem with my 12 gauge. Had to have certain ammunition. But I would check that first of all and see if it's the ammo.
We're in Georgia. Thank you very much. It's lovely around here. Hi guys, nice to meet you. Ollie, how are you? Yes, very well, thank you, mate. Jerry. Hi, Jerry. Oh, nice to meet you.
Thanks for having us and showing us the Georgia 3% security force. I appreciate it. Can you tell us a little bit about
3% security force. We're a constitutional militia. We're above board and legal. Our primary goal is to prepare ourselves and our family for when shit hit the fan. We're safer together. Somewhere in there is the militia, which is by definition, the way I define it is written and codified in the Second Amendment. Well-armed militia being necessary to the security of a free state where people to keep bear arms shall not be infringed. I'm just especially concerned with the unrest to follow the election and with the coronavirus infringing on people's civil liberties, and it's just getting worse.
In terms of November 3rd, November 4th, and unrest around that, what sort of things are you expecting then? I mean, obviously, I assume you're hoping for a Trump re-election, right?
Yeah, I think scenario number one is Trump 2020 landslide, and we're celebrating on November 3rd. I think the media's gotten it all wrong. Reporting he's losing in the polls. I think he's going to win by a landslide, or Joe Biden wins, and I
think at that point we realized that it's up to we the people. There's nobody else that's going to be looking out for our best interests. So we have to take it upon ourselves to do what's best to effectuate our own security and our own safety, regardless of using our own authority. We the people, we are the highest authorities in our respective lives. We got God, we got ourselves, the right to self-determination, and don't need someone on the television or some doctor or a member of a WHO, or I don't need the United Nations. I don't need anybody telling us how to live our lives here in the United States of America. I'm 100% opposed to that type of intrusion and trampling of our way of life. So I think President Trump wins by a landslide. He snuffs out Antifa. If he has to put National Guard in all the major cities, do it, and knock this shit out and drag some of these politicians out as well.
Interesting that he mentioned the National Guard then, because obviously during some of the unrest we've seen the National Guard being brought to cities, curfews being introduced. Does that run sort of against your beliefs and the sort of the importance you place on civil liberties? Is that not an infringement on people's civil liberties?
I think it's to what end. We have a defined enemy. We have domestic enemies in the United States of America, and it's not people like me. It's not people on the right. It's the radical left and anarchists and things like that. So if President Trump is going to send National Guard to stop the burning down of our cities and stop the chaos that could ensue after the election, then I'm 100%. I'll definitely be supportive of that. We will also help in any capacity that we can to prevent our cities and our states from being burned down or innocent people being shot or murdered. We already know that there's over 400 groups that plan to be marching in the streets by 12 o'clock the next day. And House of Representatives will pick President
Nancy Pelosi.
And potentially it could be Nancy Pelosi. And if they do something like Nancy Pelosi, then I'm grabbing my firearm and I'm running out the front door screaming like a banshee.
It's alarming to hear that, as someone who's at home, there's no guns, to have that concept. It's like it's quite affronting to me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Frightening,
yeah,
or reassuring?
I guess it depends on which side you're on.
After meeting Chris and some of his fellow militiamen, they agreed to take us out and show off their combat skills.
I think not being able to have an M16 is total bullshit.
Now, he said they was going to go out. Oh, hell no. Unmute the damn mic. I want to stop this just a minute. He says they're going to go out and show off their combat skills. So I just want to say to anybody that doesn't know what combat skills are, please don't consider what you're about to see combat skills. That ends this safety message. Please don't try it at home.
Guns up. Right now, this is the safest place in McDonough, Georgia. I mean, there's not going to be any gunmen in close proximity getting away with any acts of terrorism. I mean, you have to be your brother's keeper and try to convey that to other people. We're here, if you stand up, for the Constitution and you believe in protecting our way of life, then this is the last resort as well. There's nothing to be fearful of. It's a safety mechanism for our country that our founding fathers gave on to us. And ironically, there's an opposing force that would like to take it away. We're here to use that Second Amendment to protect the First Amendment if it comes down to that on November 4th.
So I'm going to show you another video here in a minute of this group, but they definitely have got some work. Jocko says, I'll break it down again. Glock, the tight end fits into the recoil spring guide, while the wider opening end is towards the muzzle. Good advice. I mean, these guys are so unorganized. It's unbelievable. This other video I want to show you.
God is down one situation, but I think it.
Go help yourself.
In defending the Constitution. Most people look at militiamen and three percenters as being uneducated Southern redneck types. You know, it's quite offensive, really. I mean, we're talking about a group of people who come from all walks of life. They're professionals, they're teachers, businessmen, they're engineers, electricians.
Yes.
Where's Chris at this morning? Now they're so organized and so well trained and put together that their leader, their general, as he's called, is laid up in the rack while everybody else is up getting going. These are highly motivated defenders that are going to take care of us if the ball ever drops. So this is, it just gets better, believe me.
So if we want to go ahead and start some breakfast, go help yourself. You're welcome. Eggs and bacon over there, sir. Eggs and bacon over there, sir.
Now you seen on her sleeve, she had the flag and the 3%er on this off to the side.
Ready, so.
Waiting on everybody to get up and get rolling out of bed, which most everybody is already. Some of us have had breakfast and we're preparing for the day. We'll start the training just shortly. As soon as a blood agent gets out of the rack, we'll go from there. Now that's a lieutenant, if you noticed. Back up. Waiting on everybody to get up and get rolling out of bed, which most everybody is. Lieutenant Boogeyman, the Georgia 3% Security Force. Now, like I said, these boys are going to save the world. Is already. Some of us have had breakfast and we're preparing for the day. We'll start the training just shortly. As soon as a blood agent gets out of the rack, we'll go from there.
We went into quick cooking mode. Is General up yet or moving? I haven't seen him yet this morning, so.
The 3% movement has been around for quite a number of years, but I took a personal interest in the 3% movement following the election of Barack Hussein Obama. And after witnessing different things taking place in government, after witnessing and learning about things taking place across the planet, that caused me concern for my individual safety. So I began looking out to other people to help me and help each other build a network to provide mutual assistance if that should ever be needed.
We got new scopes on our rifles. We can't wait to try out. Yeah, see how they work.
I realized about a year ago that I was not prepared and I didn't.
Corporal Harley Quinn. They're serious now.
Not feel safe when I was out and about in my own hometown with my 12-year-old. So I began the journey to get my concealed weapons permit, have my husband teach me about firearm safety. And once I got that legal, then I looked for a group of like minds, and we're sticking together. And, you know, we're defensive. I mean, that is our first posture. We are not here to start anything, but we are here to defend and protect our families first, my loved ones, anybody that you see wearing a uniform, and their family, the dogs that we bring. That is why I'm here.
So the 3% movement, it's a prevailing belief that has root and foundation in the Revolutionary War, and the belief that a small group of motivated people and Minutemen, patriots, can defend themselves from tyranny. Yes, sir. I consider myself a Christian. I believe that most of the people in Georgia Security Force, 3%, would identify as Christian. Our laws were based on Judeo-Christian beliefs. The Bible tells us that there's a fight for good and evil right here on planet Earth. And my views on the religious beliefs of Christians in comparison to Islam, I think.
Now, he says that, excuse me, talked about the holding, having a militia. And the Constitution does, you know, speak about having a militia. But we have that. That's what the National Guard are. They are our state militia. You know, these guys are just out for a camping trip, what it looks like, you know, to drink beer and play with guns, it looks like.
I think that their belief systems are in stark contradiction. In Christianity, I don't think I've never heard of a situation where people are commanded to convert non-Christians at knife point or gun point. But I think Islam is terroristic in nature, and it's good and evil. And that's what it basically comes down to, is good and evil. The Southern Poverty Law Center, they put us on their hate map, which is total bullshit. But if you bring up an argument that they don't like, you're just a racist, and it's freaking nonsensical.
So my name is Philip, Corporal Cowboy. GSF knows me by. I found security force a while back. Unfortunately, it was because of a loss of a very good friend of mine. It was Chris that I met first. Like I said, unfortunately, I met them at a funeral. Pulled him aside and talked to him about it, and come out to my first FTX. Everything's been great since then. Come out here, train.
Now, this is one thing I do want to say about them, because I have heard a lot of people say that they are racist, that they're a racist group. I have yet, in any of my research, found any one unit or group that was no blacks allowed or no color allowed. So I don't see any evidence of racism. I do see them flying rebel flags, which to me is not racism. That's history. That's a whole different, subject of conversation. But they do display rebel flags quite often. But I see them having members of color of all kinds, and throughout them all their different groups that I've seen and checked and looked into and done research on. I'm going to let you look at these a few more minutes, and then we're going to look at another group that's already injected themselves. We'll watch them play Army one a little bit longer.
Great group of guys, and they treat me like family. I treat them like family. If I need something, let somebody know. They're going to help me out to the best of their ability. If they need something, I'll let them know. I'll help them out to the best of my abilities. While I was in high school as a junior, I joined the Police Explorers program and went on to be a sheriff officer, detention officer. I don't have a military background, but I have a police background. So, being able to train with them gives me that military aspect, but it also gives them that police aspect. It's a great group of guys. Nothing about this militia is racist at all. We have, rebel.
Let me catch up on this chat a little bit. Like I said, you see, what I've seen has not been race based. So Brandon jumped in here with us. How you doing tonight, buddy? TV's got a question. He says, who determines who's good and who's evil? Scary thought, ain't it? It is. It is. Wingsman said, yeah, that's true. You don't know. That brings us to our favorite flunky, Kaiser. He doesn't look, like he is as dangerous as he really is. He's a little short guy, not very intimidating in any way, but look at what he's done. So, you never know. Evil comes in all sizes and shapes. Let's pull up this other right here. Now, this group.
Back up. Back up.
Pull this up. All right. Here we go.
You guys won't be allowed to come anywhere closer.
Journalists pushed aside as an armed convoy arrives at a wildlife refuge where Ammon Bundy and his men have been for more than a week now. And Bundy himself would later turn those men away. The standoff continues south of Burns after the camp there calls for de-escalation. And when those security considerations showed up, there was some tension, and Bundy reportedly was blindsided by the move. Our Cole Miller, now continues the coverage from Eastern Oregon.
Back up. Back up. You guys won't be allowed to come anywhere closer. Back up.
It's the moment when armed men,
back up,
arriving in more than a dozen cars and trucks, descended upon the Malheur National Wildlife Refuge this morning. It all happened minutes after Lavoy Finicum, speaking for the militia holed up at that refuge for a week now and led by Ammon Bundy, had this to say.
That we would like to also see a greater de-escalation of tensions in town.
Back up.
This is how we will do things when we're in town here.
Brandon Curtis is the president of the Idaho 3%ers.
We're here to establish a security buffer between the gentlemen here at the refuge, the community citizens, as well as law enforcement.
Their presence prompted Finicum to make a return.
We want the long guns put away. We want those put up. Okay, we don't want things to look threatening.
Joseph Rice with the Pacific Patriot Network, his men here too, also spoke out. And while he says he doesn't support the occupation,
what has happened though is it started a dialogue and a discussion. What we're looking for is to start moderating a peaceful resolution.
When leadership from both those groups went into the refuge here to meet with Bundy, a liaison tells us Bundy was, quote, blindsided and asked those armed guards to leave.
We don't need you. It's the last thing we need or want here now.
I'm told before they left, they gave Bundy a copy of what they're calling the Articles of Resolution, which address grievances. I asked for a copy, but was told none were available.
We have put out Articles of Resolution.
We later found the convoy at the Burns Municipal Airport, talking with the FBI there about those articles.
You understand that from our perspective too, you can't walk up and tell us how we're going to do this.
No.
You understand?
No.
I agree, it has to be a mutual thing.
Those agents said they'd pass the message along and up the chain of command. Brandon, can you just kind of sum up the meeting that you had here now?
Well, it's pretty. If you guys want to catch us in town, that'd be better. I want to get out of the way of the FBI.
Sure. Curtis later told me it was, quote, positive, and he hopes to start a conversation with all sides, and he tells me his men will be here as long as they have to. In Burns, Cole Miller, Coin 6 News.
All right. So that pretty much brings us to an end on the 3% movement. You got to pretty much take it for what it's worth, and they are different groups. They are listed as a terrorist organization on the Southern Poverty Law Firm. Canada has them listed as a dangerous and threatening faction. They have a ban on them. So it's real interesting to see where it's going to go from here. I think that if they're doing good, like the one organization says they were doing, trying to help out and be there for people in trouble, given to Brothers too. He was talking on Finkel's chat or his panel he was on with him, and he talked about going down to Bowling Green and helping down there. Their unit, their group, whatever you want to call them, went down there and helped give aid during the time of all the tornadoes and flooding and all that stuff. So, that's definitely good work. So there are different little groups, and there's many of them. So you don't know really which one is which until you are around them for a while to see. But I wanted to find out about it, and so I spent some time working on it. Let's see what we got going on here in the chat. Brandon says, I can leave the state as long as I'm not moving. Got his phone back on. Going to take a ride to a small town Kansas City Sheriff's Office. Awesome. We'll be looking forward to that. Looks are deceiving. You're absolutely right. Charles Manson was the same, short, not scary at all till you look into his eyes. That's true. And I did. I'll pull this. Get back around here to it. I'll pull that up. I did. Pulled up a picture of Charles Manson's, just his eyes. Did a Google search and pulled his eyes, and then I compared them side by side with Kaiser, and good God, you wouldn't believe so similar. They look so good. Wingspan wanted to know if I got Kaiser's letter mail. Yes, I did. At first, I was not going to. I pulled his out and held it and decided that I wasn't going to do it. I just sent the rest of them. But then a lot of people asked me about it, thought that I should. I got to thinking about it, that's one way to make sure he sees it, because if they all get him, they might not say nothing to him. He might not ever know. So I sent it to him, and the stamp I put on it was a Purple Heart, because that's the closest he'll ever fucking get to a Purple Heart. I don't think teleportation is up and operational quite in Brandon. You're going to have to move to get there. Right.
uh, yeah, now they're named a family. And, where have we heard that before? You know, go to David Koresh at Waco. We were a family. We're all one big happy family. Uh, and then you got Jim Jones and his movement. They were all a family. Hey, Sean, welcome. Sean says, "Oh, there's more DACs." Yep, that's true. They are, especially this weekend. Absolutely. Wingspan says, "I definitely reminds me of Jim Jones." Yeah. What does DAC stand for? Stands for Donald Atwater Cameron Jr. He was a Marine who was murdered on Christmas. He was a disabled Marine and was murdered, and his PlayStation was stole. Uh, and Michael Kaiser is the only suspect to the murder. Uh, his PlayStation was stolen and found in Michael Kaiser's possession. Two guns uh, were stolen and attempted to pawn. And when they raided Kaiser's house and found the PlayStation, they found a book that on homemade silencers. So uh, we all carry the DAC in memory of that Marine. Hey, Oklahoma. Compare Manson's eyes, Kaiser's eyes, Koresh, Meghan Markle, all the same. Sociopathic, narcissistic eyes and personalities. That's for sure. I mean, you see that dark, no soul uh, type of personality. I had an encounter with something like that one time. Um, I was working at the women's penitentiary in Nashville, and so they had this girl who was on death row. Um, what was her name? Crystal Parks, I believe it was her name, and she had killed this girl, the teenager, uh, over dating her boyfriend. They snuck him or lured the girl off into the woods and beat her brains out with a center block. And when they caught the girl, she had a piece of the skull and scalp with her, and she was there in that penitentiary. And one day when I was going in to go to work, she was coming out, and I passed by her. They was taking her somewhere. They had her all in shackles and stuff. But when I looked in her eyes, they were just solid, cold, black. I mean, you could see the evil in them. And that's the same I see when I look at him, or like you say here too, Koresh, any of them, that same just evil, evil in there. Uh, TB, why was nothing progressed? It dates back to 2013, right? Um, well, I can tell you what I know on that. From what I've understood, Shiz talking. If you go to Shiz Happens and look at the videos there, you'll learn tons of information. Um, it's SHIZ Happens, and but from what I understand, the judge was crooked, and the defense lawyer had something on the judge, and they basically told the prosecutor that if he pushed this forward, that he would dismiss the charges. The judge. So now that judge is gone. Um, Everything that all the corruption is out of there, and there's new people in play. And my understanding is now that the investigation has been reopened, and hopefully we'll see some results from it. But we don't know for right now. Just waiting to find out. Hey there, never too soon in the house tonight. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. I love the work you and Josh done. That's some good stuff there. But yeah, when they dismissed the charges, they dismissed them with prejudice so that they could bring them back up later. And so there is no statute of limitations. So we just hoping someday they'll do the right thing and go after him. But I'll tell you, I hope that they was originally going for the death penalty, is what they was asking for. But I watched some videos today. Alabama's the worst damn place in the world to get do an execution. They've botched more of them than any other state. There's like 3 or 4 lethal injections that Alabama botched all within 1 or 2 year period. It's crazy. One guy that was on the table like 2 hours, sticking him and stabbing him, and it's unreal. Jeff said he's getting ready for bed because he kind of went manic yesterday and went all night long. Yeah, I watched all of him. Yeah, did some good work there. I didn't come on yesterday. I don't do Memorial Day weekend real well. I think it's kind of twisted up that everybody parties and celebrates on Memorial Day, and then they want to on Veterans Day. They think about us and want to, thank you veterans and recognize them. I just think it's all just twisted backwards. You know, people just don't realize what it's about. So the government failed as usual and pissed on a veteran. I've been in contact with combat vets in MC in Oklahoma. From what I understand, they want to have a conversation with Kaiser. Well, that would be very enjoyable if someone had a conversation with him. Nikki just said, what I want to know is how do you buy subs? There's websites. You can just Google it. Go do it. I mean, you can buy them by the tens, the hundreds, the thousands. You can buy views. You can buy all that shit. But you get caught, and then they'll fucking bring your channel down. You know, and you can go on like Social Blade and track and look at people, and you'll see how are they getting their subs coming in. You know, you'll see them coming in like blocks of 100, you know, or blocks of 10. I always looked at Memorial Day as it was discussed with the people that make the day meaningful. To me personally, they would want me to party, and I sure did before sobriety. I can see that viewpoint. I can. Um, yeah, I have a lot of respect for you guys that have fought during the war on terrorism time. Through the 2000s and all. My career was back during peacetime. You know, uh, I have. I know what you guys have been through has been bad in a lot of cases, and so I'm happy to know those that did make it back and have gotten back. Uh, and Nikki said, "Thank you for that information that I won't use." It's a good thing not to use it. So that's how Kaiser's channel got taken down. Yeah, he got caught supposedly buying subs, and he got a 7-day penalty. So when you go from new subs, two new subs per day to 100 in a day, they're like, "What the fuck?" Basically, is what I'm gathering. Absolutely. Yep, you got it, buddy. Memorial Day is a day of remembrance, and we do celebrate that for the men and women that sacrificed for us to live the life we do, however it may be. Amen. That's what it's all about. I, like I said, I usually just kind of stay in that on that weekend. I'm a military brat. You cut me, I'm fucking OD green. I grew up. My daddy was with the 101st Airborne in Vietnam, and so military has been a part of my life. My whole life. Yeah. When you buy subs, you buy them in blocks of 10. But if you already have like 2 subs, it won't read 12. It'll only read 10. So you're wanting to look for people who have subs of like 13, 14, 15. I've seen people trolled with live views by a couple thousand for 10 minutes. The people get all full of themselves going from 34 to 5,034. 10 minutes go by and they eat all the dicks. There you go. Hey, Scotto. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you. And Bree mentioned, yeah, but Kaiser has another channel. So that's true. I forgot about that other channel he's got. He used that the last time he got shut down. Because that time was a couple of weeks or maybe even 30 days. I don't remember. I know it was at least a week, maybe longer. I don't know for sure. I can't say for sure. I think it is. I don't even remember now what the damn name of it was. Something about Sob Sit Theater. Uh, oh, here you go. Nikki's got it right here. Mystery Sob Sit Idiots or something like that. Yeah, it's something like that. I'll let me see if I can pull it up and find it real quick. Let me go over here and check on my channel real quick and see if I might have it saved. Yeah, right. Do what? There we go. Scotto got it. Yeah, he was playing the Cubs game. Cubs full of shit. Full of bullshit. Yeah. That's what I got to say to that.
A bullshit? A bullshit? A bullshit. A bullshit.
But I'm suspecting he'll probably get his letter tomorrow. And we'll probably hear something about it then. I was watching y'all's video there, Jeff, and I seen somebody over there accused me of being master sergeant. So Mode Media was the bald-headed master sergeant retired. I'm definitely not not no master sergeant, that's for sure. I'm 86, but I never made no master sergeant, and I'm a long way from bald. It's amazing how he fits all the bullshit in that tiny pea head of his. I know, that's for sure. It's always interesting to see how he spins things and how his viewers just believe anything and everything YouTube tells them. That's why they're banned, right? Well, it gets me all the time. He still keeps hollering Benjamin Moore about TV. He'll talk to him and tell him, hey, Benjamin. I laugh my ass off every time he does that bullshit because it is not who he is. I've proved it. I've showed it time and time and time again. who Benjamin Moore really is. And I hope the dumb sons of bitches try to send some kind of fucking charges or press charges of some kind against Benjamin Moore. It'll be funny as hell. Yeah, they call him longer now. I liked his playback on it. That's fine. Doc Holliday was a longer. Hell, if anybody's a longer as me, I'm chain smoking this son of a bitch on earth. Especially when I get on here for some reason. I get on here, I smoke nonstop. He's being blatantly obtuse and ignorant to the facts. Make blind accusations to try and getting those Kaiser simp donos. He does. It's just ridiculous. Let me get the link here and put it in chat if anybody wants to come up. There we go. Let's see. Oh shit, turn that off. And in the background. There we go. I had it playing in the background. I turned that some bitch off. Scotto says, say, being on panel making me smoke like crazy. And I know it. I do. I smoke one right after the fucking other. Never ends. Let's see. Let me pin that up too. There we go. There you go, Scott. Got you a light. I want to pull up dipshit. Let me see here. There was a bunch of shit he was talking the other night. He got all deep and like he was just really badass. Let me see if this is the one. Yeah, this is it. Let me share this. Oh, Nikki's sneaking out on me. Take care, girl. Good night. Jeff bailing on us too. Yes, being cokeheads. Now central nervous system stimulus works. I too chain smoke while streaming. Yeah, I do. And he can throw that cokehead shit up his ass. You know, he talks so much shit about doing dope. Well, you know, I when I was diagnosed with PTSD, they put me on uh, anitriptyline and Valium, and that shit had me. The next day I woke up, I was just a zombie. You know, I couldn't fucking function, and I quit taking all that shit and smoke pot, and it keeps me on a low level plane. You know, I have very few uh, attacks anymore. You know, so uh, it helps to get you off of all those pills. It's a good thing in my mind. I'd rather do something that God put on this earth, natural, grows out of the grass that you talk about touching all the time, uh, and instead of some narcotic that's made in a laboratory. I'll get off that soapbox now. But here, let's pull up old dipshit here. Let me share it here. We had a technical malfunction here. Everything just went black. Uh, there we go. It wouldn't be one of my streams if the shit didn't have some kind of fucking technical problem. I agree. I was on 800 milligrams of Seroquel during the day at one point. Straight up zombie. I imagine. I bet you was, because my wife used to be on that Seroquel. I don't think it was that many milligrams, but they gave it to her to help her sleep, and that's all she fucking did. She slept day and night. Couldn't wake up, and she got off of that shit. They had her on that plus Soma, and she she quit that shit, got off of it too. I'm proud of her. All right, let me try to pull this back up. There we go.
And yeah, the baby ones will do that. But you get you some rest, Dragon Lady. Hey there, Miss Jenny with an eye. I saw you slip in. But one of the things I wanted to mention, and you know, Dad multi-voice, I am, you being here, you know, it brings up a good point that I want to make. And well, hey, Southside Memphis. One of the reasons that I reacted the way that I did over all three of your initials being up there. Excuse me, y'all. I got to verify something.
Well, I'll read this. Dude tells people to get off their meds. That's terrible advice from not a doctor. He screams ideal stability just because he didn't experience anything. He thinks he can judge like a good Christian. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, what all he's done or not done. I know, I mean, I was a 19 kilo tanker and he was a 19 Delta Cav Scout, and, it's all mechanized armor. Uh, so, spent a bunch of his time in a Bradley, I'm sure, you know. So he, probably not doing a whole lot of grunt work and firefight work. Yeah. But, I don't know. I can't say. But I know what discourages me about what he's all talking about. You know, he's talking to Josh about his service. And, Josh has, I know he said 1 Bronze Star, and I think he said 2. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he did. But, I mean, they don't just fucking give those away. And, so I guarantee you Josh has seen and done a whole lot more than he ever has. I'll rest assured and bet on that. When Desert Storm broke out, I was in reserves, and on a Sunday drill, they asked us if anybody wanted to volunteer, and out of the entire battalion, 6 people stepped forward, and they called us on Thursday, told us to be there Saturday morning with our will, power of attorney, and our bags packed. We were going to be on a flight out Saturday morning, and we went straight to Fort Georgia, or Fort Stewart, Georgia. Shit, I'm buzzed. Fort Stewart, Georgia, and processed in there, and then we were assigned to crews as fill-ins. I was probably the only E6 driver in a Abrams, but that's what they needed. That's what I did. So verify these nuts, guys. Our Cav Scouts got fucked up real bad, green on blue. The way he acts, none of it lines up. He calls himself NCO, but broke down his MOS code 19 Delta 10. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Mine is a 19 kilo 3 X-ray, and the X-ray is for a drill sergeant, but for 3 for a staff sergeant.
That's what pissed me off. Nobody knows what other people have been through. The worst thing you can say to someone is to just get over it. That's for sure. You know, a lot of people suffer from PTSD that never served in the military. You know, they've just been involved in some traumatic experience in their life. It's a very debilitating disease. It really is. GS went totally nuts last night on Based Oracle. Jody D was on the panel too. Uh, I, like I said, he had his say to me, and I had my say back. So I've got him in the rearview mirror right now. I ain't worried with him. If he says he's more shit or starts talking shit or fucking with me, then I'll have my say. One thing I think everybody's done figured out is I'll say whatever's on my fucking mind. Oh, I know it. That fucking chili bowl there. It's the damnedest thing. And then them pointed fucking ears. I said, it looks, the motherfucker looks like Charlie Manson and a fucking Vulcan had a baby. I'll go back to his playing his bullshit.
It is because Carrie, yeah, the KKK thing was a red flag. That combined with, you know, what you said, big red flag. You get it, and it's not that I want to pick on you in any way, and I want you here if you want to be here, sir, and I respect you. I do. I've got people like, okay, hey everyone, Baddie's friend, why aren't you? That is legit. She is a roughneck. Well, she will be. Hey, Baddie, show her how to.
Yeah. Yeah, I know this is actually from a couple of nights ago. But he just let me hang on a second there. He gets so in depth here. He starts trying to say all kinds of shit. I'm going to tell you the hard charging NCOs don't go to the mail room, right? Yeah, I heard your story on that tonight, and you're right. I was a 31B 22B when I had my back surgery. I went to the battalion NCOIC E5 working directly in battalion ops. Yeah, if somebody went to the mail room from being an NCO, they stepped on their dick somewhere. That's for sure. Yeah. Wingspan says I was robbed at gunpoint in Houston a few years ago, and had my PTSD and anxiety attacks bad. I have to take meds for it. Well, of course, and that's a perfect example. Yeah, that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. Uh, any kind of thing like that. A car accident. People have survived through a car accident. Um, Same thing. They'll have they have another channel out there called the Stones Vet USMC. I got your six. That's cool. TV says it's Friday nights. Yeah, that's what it's from. I wonder if GS has a dishonorable discharge. No, I don't think so. I believe. I mean, I believe most everything he says. I don't think he's been deceived in what he said. Uh, I think pretty much everything he's claimed is true. Um, I met him and sat down and had lunch and talked to him. You know, um, but he was uh, I don't know, just different. I mean, we sat and talked for a while, and at one point he finally moved, and somebody else came and sat down at that end and had some more conversations. But like we all ordered pizza, and uh, we went to a pizza parlor. There was like I don't know 10 or 12 of us, and he uh, he wanted a sandwich instead. He wanted a stromboli, and so when it came, he just like talked down to the girl about it, and you know kind of scolded her about it, that it wasn't a real stromboli, wasn't right, and uh, she come to find out she's the owner of the company, of the business there. It's a little private mom and dad pop stuff. But he went on to try to correct her and teach her and tell her, you know, how to make her sandwich in her shop. Uh, but I just I used to go over to his channel a lot, and then I just quit because uh, he got so far off track with for me. You know, there's just too many things too many red flags jumped up. So, but I do believe his service career. But I guess we'll see. Is he even Italian? I don't know. He claims to be. Uh, you know, I found was pretty offended with all of his conversations about Jews and all that. You know, my my grandmother was Jewish. Uh, she was actually, a prisoner in a concentration camp when she was a little girl. Uh, I don't, I don't profess the Jewish religion or anything. I don't even know anything about it. I don't, I just know she was Jewish. So I have Jewish blood, but I don't, didn't appreciate all that comments and stuff that he had to say. Wingspan says, I noticed since his dad passed away a few months ago, he has gotten out of control with his raging and Bible. Well, that could have a lot to do with it. I wasn't aware of that. I hate to hear that part. You know, terrible for anyone to lose a parent. I'm worried right now with my mother. She's in really bad shape with cancer. Uh, so, and I've experienced, you know, uh, with my wife, she lost her mother, and I was very close with her. You know, she was a good mother-in-law. One I wanted to keep. He's a male chauvinist pig. Yeah, that's pretty obvious. Christian, and you read the Bible, then you will know God made everyone. So therefore, when you hate something, you hate God's creation. And that's very true. God made all men. I believe in God. I have a strong belief in prayer. But I see too much hypocrites in churches. I'm just anti-church. Uh, I go to sometimes with my mom on Mother's Day. That's her wish every year is to go to church with her, and I'll go. And some of the times, it's a uplifting experience with a good preacher. But I just see too much corruption in churches all the time, and the the Bible says, "Where two or more gather in my name, there shall I also be." So anytime you're gathered together, one or more persons talking about God, and you're in God's church. The trees around you, the grass below your feet, the wind in your face. You know, so it's just the way I feel. Let's go back to Dickhead over here.
Turn on her memberships. But the other thing is, Carrie, you got to keep this in mind. Right now, I have dumbwaiter going all over frauditor channels, passing out my address. I've got dumbwaiter who somehow got my mother's cell phone number. I've had him calling her at 1 o'clock in the morning. I've got his fluffer, TB, putting out my address.
TB, why'd you do that?
I've got them also claiming that they're sending letters to the neighbors, not only slandering me, but telling them that I'm guilty of this and this and this and this and this because I won't back down from them. All right.
Now, that's what I was wanting to see. That's slander claim. See, it's no slander involved. When you tell the truth, dipshit. Let me put this way. There we go. So I can talk to him directly. Yeah. When it's the truth, it's not slander. So, yeah. Only thing that was said is what's true, what can be pulled up and found publicly without any problem. So, but your neighbors, they have the right to know what kind of asshole they got living beside of them and what's their liable, prone, and possibly could happen to them. Just like you claim that all the victims of the auditors, you contact them because you want to take care of the victims. Well, see, you're working on the wrong end. See, the thing to do is try to be preventative. Work preventative. So, well, the point of the letter is to prevent them, make them aware ahead of time before they become victims. See, so sit back and enjoy, and hold on to that stamp, because that's the only fucking one you'll ever get. Dumbass put his own mama's number when he called Chris. Right, right. All right. Well, at this point, I think it'd be about time to call it an end. I appreciate everybody that's hung out with me tonight. It's been enjoyable. Thank y'all very much. Um, the 3%ers, you're going to have to kind of make your own mind up about them. All I did was try to present you with, some information and some interesting facts about them. But again, I'll say the one thing that I did find surprising was that I did not find any group that were racist. As far as they may have had some racists inside of them, individuals, but they all had some people of color. So, Buck, so good night. Appreciate it, buddy. Again, thank y'all for hanging out with me. If you would hit that subscribe button, I sure appreciate everything everybody's been doing lately. The channel's really growing, and thank y'all for everything. God bless. Take care of one another. I'll see you next time around.